with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson, fresh back from Vegas here on the Sports Arena tonight. Just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who was riding with us, myself and Miss Megan Price, while we were in Vegas at the WNBA All-Star Game. You know, I had to get some merch to represent because it was an amazing 48 to 72 hours. And again, I just want to say thank you because it was a tremendous experience. Can't wait till next year. I'm trying to get me some floor seats next year. But that being said, we got a jam-packed show to get to tonight, so I'm not going to waste any time. Typically what I do is I introduce everybody. However, I have to start the show a little differently tonight. As we did hear about and we saw video and we saw pictures of what happened the other day with the Washington Nationals and the San Diego Padres, there was a shooting incident. And I just want to take a moment and say, all of us at the Sports Arena, and I'm sure the other networks and radio shows and groups that are here joining me tonight, we all want to send out our prayers, our thoughts to all of those who were affected by this, be it physically, emotionally, or mentally. And again, I want to take a moment and recognize the Washington Nationals for doing their part in trying to keep everybody safe. One of those individuals is actually joining us here tonight. He was actually at the game as a part of media. This is my brother, Phil Jones. Phil, sir, good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Brother, no. How are you doing?
Doing good.
A good man. Let me just say, man, I'm so happy to see you. I'm so glad to see you. When I saw all the messages come across Twitter and all of the social media entities that you were home and that you were safe, I could breathe a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Can you just take me through, if you don't mind, and to the audience, can you just take me through, what you experienced when you were there?
So, to clarify, I didn't go as media. I went just as a day, just take a day off and, enjoy a baseball game,
All right.
It was good, early on, good, enjoy family fun and friends, all that good stuff. And then, right around towards the end of the inning, you start hearing multiple shots go pop, 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 pop. So at first, maybe, okay, it's July still, maybe it's some firecrackers, but for someone that's, been to the range and shot off a gun before, that was one too close. And if it was firecrackers, they wouldn't have even gone off in that area. So I'm thinking to myself, I know what that sounded like. And I had another fan that was in the crowd. He looked at me, he said, that's what I think that was. I was like, yeah. And then you start seeing everybody around the third base area, I'd say coming about towards where you can sit where center field is. Everybody's just running. They're just scattering. They're running. Everybody is not even missing a beat, just trying to get out of there. And then you start seeing people say, get out. We got to get out. We got to get out. And I'm just like, okay, we got to get out of here. So I get my friends together. We get a couple other folks. I was like, I think it's good for us to leave right now. I don't think we should be sitting here because we don't know if somebody trying to pull a mass shooting. We don't know if it's like multiple gunmen. And the best thing to do is you're sitting right there like a sitting duck. you're not in a good situation. So we're trying to get out of there. And then when you're getting down the steps, you hear it go off again. So we're like, okay, which direction? Where do we run off to? So
Phil, hold on really quick. So you saw people going from third base to center field. That was after the first round, if you will.
Yeah.
When you heard the second round and you had gathered your friends, where were you at that point in time? Were you still at center field, or had you already moved?
We're already like down the steps, and we're getting ready to we're thinking about, okay, we're going to run the direction where everybody else is running to. Then we heard it off again. We're like, and then people are running down the stairs, and you're like, oh God, they're running back from the stairs. You're in that situation thinking like, okay, is this really about to go down? Is this going to be a moment where we need to try to hurry up and find somewhere to hide?
Right.
Or can we try to make it back to where folks were originally running at?
Okay.
Thank God it was the cops coming up the steps.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. So at that point, what did you do?
They were in there. They had the assault gear and everything. And the one thing, it was just like, look, I know that my friends were safe. They went to the direction that people originally were running from. They said that they had officers already over in that area. They said, run towards that direction and get out. Me, some folks will say I'll be being a little bit stupid, but I just can't do that. Woman had left her kid. She couldn't find her kids. She sat them down, went to go grab them. Because, it wasn't that close by, but she couldn't find them. So I went back to go help her. Mm-hmm. So went back, ran in. Luckily, the kids were smart. They got into an area where they were very hidden, and luckily they answered their phone. I went back out, found my friends, so on and so forth. We were all safe. Nobody should have to experience that.
Amen.
Nobody.
You right about that, bro.
And the thing about it is, with the Nationals, they put a lot of money over into that area, especially near the Naval Yard. And when I mean a lot of money, there's a lot of money. And when you see the security over there, it's always beefed up. Mm-hmm. It's no joke. So when you're finally hearing something like, well, someone's shooting over there. Everybody's going to try to use the whole narrative of, oh, well, it's DC, so, you're always going to have some shooting over there. I get that, but not over in that area.
Bro, let me be honest. It don't matter. It don't matter where you live. There's going to be shooting everywhere. For those who think that shooting doesn't exist in their neighborhood, you living under a rock. Let's keep it 100, okay? So it don't matter what part of the town you in. It don't matter what neighborhood you in. It don't matter what arena you're in. If shots going to pop off, shots going to pop off.
Ain't no lie. And, my whole thing was this. There was some folks that were just like, I saw social media, like some folks like, oh, y'all just over exaggerate. Y'all now hearing gunshots. I'm like, I get it. I've heard gunshots. I've been around gunshots. Shit, I survived the damn insurrection being over in that area with all that madness. So when I tell you, if you haven't been that close to it, you can't judge somebody on how they're feeling.
Right.
Because, nobody's not used to experiencing that. Nobody should have to experience that. And being in that situation for anybody, whether you're black, white, it doesn't matter what race you are. Natural human instincts, you're going to feel panic. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, is this going to be the day I die? Or is it going to be a day that, I get another chance to get out of here? So for anybody that thought that, this is you guys overreacting, y'all need to stop and think what you're saying.
Yeah, that's real.
I'm just glad that everybody's safe. Again, my prayers go out to the 4 folks that were shot. Major props to National players and the Padres players for opening up the third base area open up the dugout area where they can get in the dugout and keep fans and keep them down and cover.
Right.
Big props to Manny Machado.
Yeah.
So,
Phil, I'm just, like I said, man, when we talked, I'm just glad that you were safe, my brother. I'm glad that you were okay. And even though I know I had no part in this, I empathize with you wanting to always do the right thing. At the end of the day, my man, you a brother and we love you. And I always tell all of y'all, just stay safe. I'm just glad that you are, man. So I just wanted to get you on here tonight to talk about it because you were there. I actually thought you went there as media, and I feel bad that you actually got to take a day off to kind of enjoy yourself, but it resulted in a situation like this. So,
the world's crazy nowadays, man. I mean,
you're right about that.
All I can just say is expect the unexpected.
Well, hey, bro, keep yourself safe. I look forward to seeing you talking about your Raiders. I look forward to seeing you back on the NFL carousel as well. I appreciate your time. And hey, phone is always on. Social media is always on. You need anything, bro, you reach out, man.
Will do, man. You take care, Eric.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Whew. That was a little heavy, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get 10 seconds to compose myself, and then I'm going to get the crew in here, and we're going to do what we do. So with the Sports Arena, I'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside the entire crew. I got my girl, my tag team partner, Miss Megan Price, 806 Sports and the Sip Off, who joined me in Vegas. Mike Carrot-Tenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. John Shear, looking so fresh and so clean. Sideline Sports and Cardiac Kane. And as always, the ever popular, you love him or you hate him, but you got to respect him. Alex Fleming, Florida Sun and NSPN. So good evening to all of you. Thank y'all for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. And before we get started, I'm glad to see all of y'all. Let me just go ahead and say that.
Glad to see you.
Now that we got that out the way, we got some things we need to discuss here, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the Sports Arena. So as I said earlier to start the show, Miss Megan Price joined me in Vegas for the WNBA All-Star Game. I did not know that was Megan's very first live event. And to say that Megan held her own amongst some of the more seasoned veterans is an understatement. She was in them Zoom rooms. She was asking questions. Megan was front row for the commissioner's interview. And, Alex, you always say this, we are watching a star born. I actually got to see it live and in living color. She did a phenomenal job. So I'm excited to see the future of the one Miss Megan Price. But that being said, some news came down while we were in Vegas. Something that one of us on this panel, I'm not going to mention who, I won't say that they have an issue with it. They just feel that even though the timing was right of this to happen, they're not too high on who is actually on the 25th WNBA anniversary edition of NBA 2K22, which is Miss Candace Parker. So, John Shear, we had a very spirited conversation, and I want to give you the floor, sir, because you feel as though even though the timing needed to happen and you're thankful that it did happen, you're just not on the fences on the side of it should have been Candace Parker.
Yeah, I personally don't believe it should have been her. I believe there are better options. I think Brianna Stewart is about the hottest you can get right now in the sport as far as the player. You got legends lined up. You got Taurasi, you got Sue Bird. There's plenty of players that you could have put on. You could have put on a WNBA player from the past. You could have done that. I didn't think that this was the best choice. I'm not opposed to it, but I still don't think it was the best choice. I thought there was other players that are more deserving. Still great. Doesn't take away from the accomplishment of a WNBA player making, the cover of an NBA game. Never seen a woman on the front of one of these games, so it's awesome to see. But I still think, for my money, I would have put Brianna Stewart, who is really carrying the WNBA right now. I feel like she's the most talked about. She's dominating this sport. And I would have put her, or I would have went back and put one of the legends that are currently in the WNBA, let me rephrase that, or one of the past legends. That's what I would have done. But I don't follow WNBA as hard as you guys do, so maybe you guys have better insight than I do.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, John's on to something a little bit, Eric. I'm all for having Candace Parker on it, but it should have been almost like an awesome collage. Like you could have had Taurasi and Bird, Taurasi and Bird up top, and like Lisa Leslie, and like, maybe even like a Cheryl Swoops in back, and then kind of have like, Candace Parker and that generation. It could have been an awesome collage. I mean, I get it's one person, but they've had covers before where there's multiple things going on for different games. To me, it would have been even better. But again, I would have went Diana Taurasi. Or actually, Eric, I was going to kill you. I was going to say I would have went with Cheryl Miller as like the godmother up top, very top, and then from there. But that being said, I would have went like Bird and Taurasi and like Lisa Leslie and Swoops, and kind of like then had like a tier down and just kind of like had the other players so you see them, because to me 25th anniversary, that would have been a hell of a tribute. But to get Candace Parker there is huge, but I just think it should have been like a whole group kind of portrait like that.
Megan, I want to hear from you about this. I need the woman's thoughts of this, and then I'm going to go to my man Alex Fleming before I give my thoughts on this and why I'm so, I think, on the opposite end of this. But please, Miss Megan Price.
Well, I think you got to start with one of the main complaints about the WNBA is that a lot of people say that it's not marketed very well. And right now, Candace may be the face of the WNBA, but Brianna is a great option as well. But we see Candace in a different aspect with her analytics. So we see her year round, because the NBA season is during the WNBA pretty much off season, majority of the season. So why not have somebody that you see all the time that people can recognize? And that's a good marketing move. But I do like what Michael said about, maybe having like a montage of several different people. That's a really good idea, actually. But real quick, I'm going to run down a couple of Candace's accolades and say why she is absolutely deserving. She's a WNBA champ. She's a WNBA's finals MVP. She's a 2-time WNBA MVP, 6-time All-Star, WNBA Defensive Player of the Year, All-Star Game MVP, Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-WNBA First Team, and it goes on and on. Like, she has a ton of accolades within the WNBA, so I think she's a great option. But Mike, I really like that idea of you talking about a collage of a bunch of them, because I think a lot of us all have different players that we really like. But I mean, I think it was a good move marketing wise, because we see her in several different aspects.
All right, hold on. We got Miss Ruth the Truth joining us here. So
hello.
Alex, I'm going to go to you real quick. Then I'm going to go to Ruth about this situation. And then I'm finally going to say what I want to say, even though Megan, doing Megan things took part of my moment, but that's okay. But Mr. Fleming, please talk to me about this, sir.
I'm going to let the lady speak. We're talking about Candace Parker on the cover of NBA 2K. After you, Ruth.
Yeah,
I am super excited about it. I mean, like you guys alluded to, there could have been other options like Diana Taurasi. Obviously, she represents the WNBA almost just as much as Candace Parker, but I like it. I think when Megan pointed out that the WNBA is not marketed as well as the NBA, and that's why the players are not paid nearly as much as the men. So I think this helps us out. So I think it's a good thing. I love the cover. I think it's creative. It looks great. Of course, they could have made some additions, but I'm really happy with the product.
Mr. Fleming.
I'm with John. I don't agree and I don't disagree. WNBA missed out on an opportunity. Love Candace Parker. No hate, nothing but love. But you got to think, who started this? Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Sue Bird, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi. I mean, there's a lot of names that you could have put faces in the background. You could have had just a face montage with Candace Parker taking up most of it, because this is Candace's world. We just live in it. The Chicago Sky were 2-7 without Candace Parker. All of a sudden, they get Candace Parker. Not only do they have a winning record, but they're in the All-Star game. They win the three-point shooting contest, and Candace has them in contention to actually win a championship. But I agree with Mr. Shear. You missed out on an opportunity. You could have made that better.
Okay. I need to shut all this down right here, right now. And let me preface my comments by simply saying this. Even if she was with the LA Sparks, I would still feel the same way that I feel currently. But since she is on the Chicago Sky, to everybody's point, I'm not in disagreement with what any of you are saying. However, here is what I will say to you. When you have put in the work that she has put in, and Mr. Fleming, unfortunately, your background's just giving me something, so I'm just going to mute you for a moment, sir. Thank you. When you have put in the work that she has done both on and off the court to continually push that this organization, not just her team, but the organization itself, get the exposure that it's needed, then I feel she has earned the right to grace the cover by herself. Now, what this does do is what all of you are saying. Think of it like this. Let's say, and I'll be the first one to say it, I feel the women's USA national basketball team is going to win the gold medal. Well, then next year, you have all of them on the cover, celebrating their accomplishments. I think for this moment, Candace Parker is well deserved of the fact that even though she's not on the court, she's going to be in Tokyo. She's going to be calling these games. So whether she's doing it on the court with the Chicago Sky, making them a team, a viable contender for the WNBA championship, or she's doing it off the court as an analyst, as a mother, as, you know, she has so many paid sponsorships that she has worked with to continually elevate women. I think that is why Candace Parker, for this moment, has earned the respect of being the solo individual on this cover. And here's the caveat. I didn't realize this till today. This game is exclusive only at GameStop, which GameStop, you know, send me a check or send me a copy of the game. And it's only for PS5 and Xbox Series One. So it's a limited edition. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying to you, you have to start somewhere. I think in doing what Mike and John and what you guys were saying about putting other faces or doing a montage, Candace has created that. She has created that opportunity for them to say, okay, what do we want to do next cover? Maybe next cover we do a Breonna Stewart. Maybe next cover we do a Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird. Maybe the cover, maybe the 30th anniversary, we commemorate that 96 Olympic team. But for this moment, right here, right now, and being present in the moment, she is deserving of it. And that is why I say I will fight anybody on this. Because what Candace has done is deserving of her being on that cover.
Yeah, I mean, going toe-to-toe against Shaq, I mean, the way that she's able to hold her own as an NBA analyst, like, she deserves the respect. And this is just the start of something beautiful. I think this will continue, as you said, Eric.
Yeah.
I liked Liz Cambridge's quote in the Zoom media that we did. And she said, you know, that's someone's mother that's on the cover. And that really kind of hit my heart right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Draymond Green probably already has a copy, right?
He was actually there.
I know
he was there. Draymond was there. We saw Draymond. So I Megan, I don't mean to put you on the spot because we both shared that Draymond moment. But when Megan and I left Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's press conference and we were heading back to go over to Mandalay Bay for the game, Megan Price and I are walking past Breonna Stewart, and I swear to you, I think I heard Megan scream just a little bit in her mask.
Yeah, I did. I was like,
oh, hello.
But Alex, I will say this, and I hope you're proud of me when I say this. When we walked past Draymond, I said to Megan, I said, okay, I can't be a fanboy. Because we just had to keep it moving. We really, really did. But we kept our composure. But it was a great time. I can't wait for next season, no matter where it is. I hope that all of us can get together. But I wanted to get that. I wanted to talk about that. Before we get to the NBA Finals themselves, I do want to talk about another situation. And Ruth, I'm glad you're with us because I think you and Alex have a pretty interesting or similar feel to this. So, Alex, I have learned from you, sir, that when it comes to certain individuals, you coin phrases, I think, a lot earlier than most people. However, this one, sir, I think is right up your alley. So, Luka Doncic. Now, Alex, you have called him many names, put a lot of respect on his name, but you refer to him as the baby goat. And I think over the past few seasons, I think we've kind of anointed him that, but we haven't really seen the production postseason wise. So I want to give everybody the opportunity. And Alex, of course, I want to start with you before I go to the ladies. Are we quick to really anoint him as the baby goat, given the fact that being in the league, yes, he does tremendous things during the regular season, but in the postseason, we don't really see that baby goat status of a Luka Doncic?
I'm going to start this by saying, no, you didn't. Okay, yes, first and foremost, the Dallas Mavericks were irrelevant for quite some time. Dirk Nowitzki was past his prime, and they were a first-round exit. You know, they haven't won a first-round series since 2011. Now, keep in mind, that trade between Trae Young and Mr. Doncic, yeah, that's going to live on in infamy. Can you name me somebody on that roster besides Kristaps Porzingis or maybe Mr. Hardaway? Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll give you Maxi Kleber, you know, big shot maker, big shot taker. But Luka elevates everybody around him. The man speaks 7 languages. He's nothing but professional, and he's been balling since he was a mid-range teenager in Europe. You can't stop him. He's 6'8". He ain't afraid to dunk on you. He'll cuss you out in other languages. And trust me, it took Kawhi, Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Morris, and Mr. Cousins to stop him in that nice 7-game series against the Clippers. I'm going to say this, like Kevin Garnett back in the day with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Luka needs some help. And once that old fart that makes awful sequels, I ain't going to mention his name, is gone out of the league, Luka is and will be the face of this league. I'm done.
I will defer to the rest of you in regards to this. Mike, you're shaking your head. No, let me hear from the ladies about this. How do you feel about?
Isn't it a little bit too soon, a little bit too premature to like go ahead and say Luka's going to be the next GOAT? I mean, championships is really what backs up your argument when it comes to who's going to be the next GOAT. I mean, people were saying that Patrick Mahomes is baby GOAT, but he also has a Super Bowl ring on his hand and made it to another Super Bowl. So that argument I understand, but without a championship, I think Luka it's just a little bit too premature. We don't know how the rest of his career is going to go. I mean, he had issues with Rick Carlisle, it seemed like, in Dallas, and things kind of peeled apart for them. So I think it's just a little bit too premature. I love the style of play of Luka. I think he's phenomenal. He brings a whole new kind of offense to basketball, and it's beautiful. But I think it might just be a little bit too soon to say baby goat for Luka.
To respond back to Miss Ruth Pergias, do you remember when Michael Jordan won a championship, but his second and third year in the league, Larry Bird said he saw Jesus on the basketball court? Larry Bird knew, I need to win championships because once I'm past my prime, this brother's going to take over. Hey, Luka is clear. He's got a shot like Larry Bird. He assists like LeBron James, and he's dirty in the paint like any Scottie Pippen, Joe Dumars, Vinnie Johnson, or any of the greats I've seen in the past. Game recognized game. And I got to see him up close and personal a couple of times when he played the Orlando Magic. I'm trying to tell you, Ruth, it's not too soon.
Let me tell you, the way he speaks Spanish, woo.
Mike, you've been shaking your head, patiently waiting, but I got to get Megan's take, and then we're going right to you, please.
I think he's absolutely deserving. There's 5 people on the court at a time for each team, so it can't be done alone. Even Michael Jordan's been beaten in the finals when it was pretty much just him on the roster. So,
not in the finals.
My bad. In the playoffs. He got swept in the playoffs. That's what I meant to say. But Here, Luka finished out the season averaging almost 28 points. He was shooting 47.9 from the field goal, 8 rebounds, 8.6 assists, and he had 11 triple doubles in a 72-game season. He's only 22 years old. He absolutely is going to be the face of the NBA going forward, along with Zion.
Mike Caratanudo, I can say this. I respect the fact that you have been patiently waiting this whole time, sir. So go ahead with your Spider-Man shirt on, boy. Shoot your shot. Go ahead.
Half the nickname's right. The baby part's right because he is a freaking baby. I love his offensive talent, Alex. I'm with you. It's gotten better every year. But I'm sick of NBA players always crying and this and that and the foul calls and the non-foul calls. Either way, look, his talent is there. I'm with you. But you need to play more defense. I'm sorry, even in this day and age, you need to play more defense, which he doesn't do. Yes, he can outscore whoever who's probably you have to guard on the other end of the court. But if I'm Luka Doncic right now, like if I'm the Mavericks, if I'm Jason Kidd, you want to grow his game. And I mean, I do think Jason Kidd is the perfect coach for that because he can get him distributing the ball, get him moving without the ball and score. I mean, it's not even really – it's kind of addition by subtraction. But look, there's a young Trae Young, and – again, with what he did in the playoffs too, and look, they're all three. I mean, I know the trade's going to link those two together, Trae Young and obviously Luka. But DeAndre's obviously linked to Luka too because the Suns had the number 1 pick, and there was people international people shouting like, "You got to take this guy." I was pounding the table for DeAndre Ayton because of the defense and a big man that can actually shoot free throws, which I thought was insane. That being said, like, I think he'll be one of the faces. I mean, you do have a Trae Young. You do have, I mean, obviously, what Giannis is doing. A guy like Devin Booker, and you're right, when the terrible sequel gets out of the league, I mean, even AD, I mean, as a face of the league, I mean, you have Jokic. You have these guys that are just amazing. But to put GOAT on anything, to me, Eric knows how I feel. Change the T to an E, and you can have of an error. Because rules change, things change. I mean, look, in this day and age, you would take Damian Lillard or Steph Curry over any like dominant big man just because of how the game's played and they're running up and down the court. You don't need him. I mean, in my world, I can never picture saying I don't want Hakeem Olajuwon on the court. Luka is that these big guys are like that, and how he plays, I like it. But I think he's too much of a whiner. Play the game. You're going to get your calls. But Alex, come on. I mean, you're educated, but his shot is there's not too many that have a shot like Larry Bird or as clutch as Larry Bird. I'm not putting Luka in that rare air yet.
Okay, so John Scheer, I'm gonna let you speak, sir, but I'm gonna take myself out because say it again. My man Tyree is in here. I want to get his thoughts, and then we are gonna go on to the NBA Finals. But John Scheer, please.
Well, first of all, Tyree does not like whenever you say you would choose a smaller guy like Steph Curry over the bigger guys who you might want to watch what you say.
I wouldn't. I choose big guys. I choose big guys. That's what I'm saying. And everybody else in this day and age, Sean, picks small guys. You give me Hakeem on the court with David Robinson and I'll take and whatever guards. I'm good, man. I'm good.
So Alex forgot to mention that Luka plays not so great defense. We talk about how great he is in all these aspects, but he's not a great defender. So let's start that. He hasn't done anything yet so far. I mean, he had a great playoff series this year, but no, he hasn't carried his team to that point. Michael Jordan was swept twice, Megan. I was looking at it. He averaged almost a triple-double, 29 points in his first series, which he was swept, but he was a rookie, almost won MVP that year. Next year, he got swept again, but he averaged 44 per game in that series. So you can't blame Michael Jordan for getting swept both years. I mean, as I just pointed out, you can't do that. So let's not anoint Luka Doncic. Doncic, not Doncic. Let's not anoint him the baby goat. He hasn't done anything. I still think there are players better than him. I mean, I would take Dame over him. That's just me. I would take Steph Curry over him. That's just me. I wouldn't give him that yet. I mean, I still got to see what he can do because remember, we used to see Kevin Love do great by himself on the Timberwolves, and he went to a different team and he wasn't so great. We used to see Bosh do great on the Raptors. He went to the Heat. He did great. He did really good, but he wasn't quite the same guy. So Let's see what he does whenever he actually has a team instead of maybe stat padding, not sure, because we don't know whenever, you get a real team. Not knocking him, I'm just saying we've seen guys stat pad before, and then they go to a different team and they're not the same. So once he gets people, let's see what he does. I'm not knocking Doncic, but I'm just saying. So
John Shear, my response back to you. I'm sorry, John Shear, my response back to you. Take Luka off that team. How good are they? And be honest.
It was the same thing with, Chris Bosh on the Raptors. You take him off there or nothing. I'm not.
I mean, you take the best player off a lot of teams. They're not going to be very good. I mean,
exactly. So I don't exactly know yet.
Butler and Miami,
and we can't mention Chris Porzingis. Like, I mean, you mentioned him earlier, Alex. I mean, we don't even need to mention that guy. That guy's a bum. So let's not mention that guy.
But I mean,
Porzingis. Porzingis, Alex mentioned him earlier. He's a ball.
And Dame, who don't play defense either, but you want to bring up Luka's lack of defense, who is actually averaging 1 steal a game and half a block.
Racist.
Whoa! Don't say doesn't play defense. Whoa! Do not say
his defense improved.
Do not say Steph does not play defense, because I'm telling you, when he got banged up, but when they were on their championship runs, the one thing that everybody talked about with the Warriors, and I know Eric always gives me a hard time, but I'm sorry, when guys like Mark Jackson and Jalen Rose, who were on the court and understands what it's like to play man-to-man or team defense, whatever, when they were making those runs.
2 guys that was getting cooked, but go ahead.
Okay, well, maybe they were getting cooked, but they're still talking about, hey, Shaq didn't get cooked down low. So I'm just saying it's effort about playing defense, and I'll say this right now. Steph in those runs, they were definitely playing defense, just like Clay was, and they're still 2 of the best shooters. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, Mike, John. Ty, give me just a second. Mike, John, Ty, here's something you're not realizing. How many years has Luka been in the NBA?
3.
This is his 3rd year? Yeah, and he's 22
He's awesome.
years old.
But I'm with Megan.
Steph is 31. Lillard is 30. They got a good 5-6 years left. Yeah. Luka's got 12, 13 years left, and that's the difference.
But I will say this. Baby goat, hell no. But I will say this. If we talking young guys, man, now barring health, I got to put this disclaimer out there. I think the new face of the NBA pretty soon will be Zion Williamson. I think that's what it is. I mean, I don't see him staying in New Orleans very long, but I mean, to average 27 and 7 his 2nd year in the league. I hear you, but I mean, his game. I mean, his game speaks for itself. I mean, their team is not very good. I mean, he has Brandon Ingram, but like you said, Stan Van kind of wasn't playing them at the same time. That's a lot. It's
not going to matter if you have Greg Oden's legs.
I don't think he has Greg Oden legs, though. I think they're being very cautious with him. I will say that. I don't know if he's necessarily hurt a lot, or if they're just being overly cautious with him, because it seems like there's been times where he probably could have played. And I think that they were just overly cautious with him. But I think Zion has the makeup of someone that could be the best player in the league. I mean, not best player in the league, but the face of. Well, I think he could be the best player in the league.
Ty, you need to be drug tested.
Why did he be drug tested for what?
Luka is 6'8". Zion is 6'9". Who you picking in the 3-point contest? Who you picking to get you back in the game if you're down 15 points?
Isn't Ben Simmons 6'10", and we're not mentioning him?
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, look,
Zion's a good player, but I'm talking about upper echelon.
Zion could guard Luka. Luka can't guard Zion, so stop it. You need to be drug tested. Drug test yourself.
Luka would cook Zion.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
He can't guard him. Luka can't guard him.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody back to your corners. Everybody back to your corners, please. We're going to take a very brief intermission. When we come back, I'm going to let the 6 of y'all get loose because we are going to talk about the NBA Finals. I asked some questions for some people on this panel. More with the entire crew here on the Sports Arena on a Monday night. We will all be back in just a moment.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. Smarterbase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our Smarter-Burst technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connect philosophy. What's different about Smarter-Burst is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
Between ourselves and the rest of the field, but here comes Jemmy Stone.
Welcome back to the Sports Arena. Your man Eric Wilson here on a Monday night. I have the entire crew here with me tonight. Let me get the ladies in here first, of course. 806 Sports and the Sip Off, our girl, Miss Megan Price, alongside Miss Ruth the Truth Kiki is joining us. I've got my man Tyree. Say What, Say It Again sports talk show every Tuesday night, 8:30. Facebook, YouTube, iHeart. This brother's all over the place. The true, I don't know. I guess he's the Robin to my Batman. Mike Carasanudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. This is my brother who I truly call Superman because this brother does it all. Mr. Alex Fleming, Florida Sun and NSPN. And last but not least, John Scheer, Sideline Sports and Cardiac Cane. I have too many people on the screen tonight. All right, while I got all of y'all over here, let's talk about the NBA Finals.
Hold on 1 second, though, Eric. I just got one question.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say something real quick.
Sure.
Now, Alex said who will win the three-point competition. Obviously, Luka's a better three-point. I know I'm going back to it. But if you look at it, I know y'all are numbers guys. I'm not a numbers guy. But y'all are numbers guys, so I'm going to give you some numbers. You do realize that Zion shoots a better percentage for his career than Luka. That's fact one. Fact two, like Jarrell Hessel said, for someone that's offensive game hasn't really developed, he's just out there averaging 27 and 7 just off a hustle. He doesn't have Zion doesn't have no type. I'm not saying he doesn't have no skill, but he's not really an offensively polished player yet. So, I mean, I'm just saying. Go ahead, Eric. My fault. I just wanted to put that out there.
Alex, anything that you'd like to very quickly respond to, sir, before we move on? There you go.
Tyree tight. I got him. Tyree tight. Luka's a better polished player. He's a better three-point shooter. He's a better facilitator, and he doesn't miss games like Zion. Luka is the face of the NBA. Deal with it.
He's better polished, but they averaged the same thing last year. Like, how does that? You telling me a dude that's not even the first option on his team that doesn't really have the ball averages 27 points just off the hustle? That's crazy. I'm just saying. I mean,
Luka couldn't guard him.
No.
All right. We're going to pin this conversation and table it for a later time. Like I said, let's get to the NBA Finals. So, really quick here, John Scheer, I need to have a conversation with you, sir, really fast, because you have been the guy who has said that the Bucks are going to do things that, we just kind of expect them to do or don't expect them to do. Now, John Scheer, correct me if I'm wrong, sir. You were in favor of the Bucks winning the championship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And when they were up 2-0, I'm sure everybody was
down
looking
2-0.
for down 2-0, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was looking for John Scheer saying Suns in 5, Suns in 5. Well, now that the Suns they haven't won a game since game 2, you are confident, sir, in your Bucks in 6 based on the fact that they are going to win tomorrow night in Milwaukee. That you're sticking with this no matter what. And I appreciate that. But I have to ask you this question, which is why I wanted just me and you for a moment. John, you are a man much like I from the state of Pennsylvania. And when our backs are against the wall, we throw everything else outside of what is directly in front of us. We put it to the wayside. We focus all of our attention. I feel that Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and the rest of the Suns are in this position right now. What percentage, sir, are you that the Phoenix Suns come away with a victory and force a game 7? I need your percentage because you have been one of the guys alongside Alex, and I'll get him and Ty and everybody else in. But what's your percentage of them backs against the wall, do or die, elimination, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they have to pull this out tomorrow night?
I would say about a 30% chance. I said before the series, Bucks in 6. I said down 0-2, Bucks in 6. Everybody kind of looked at me like you're crazy. I said what the Bucks are going to do is they're going to win Game 3. Alex and I both said that. And you said why. We said that's just how these percentages work, is they're going to win Game 3. They're coming home. Role players, as somebody alluded to, play better at home in Games 3 and 4. And I said once they have the momentum, Game 5, they're going to steal in Phoenix. And then I said they would go back and win Game 6. I don't believe in Chris Paul. I never believed in Chris Paul. I still don't. They're 4-5 in their last 9 playoff games this postseason. So when I never trust Chris Paul. Whenever the game's on the line, when the playoffs are on the line, he always finds a way to screw up. This is Chris Paul's MO. I've been telling you guys the whole playoffs. Whenever he finds a way to get COVID, he finds a way to get injured, finds a way to screw it up. That's Chris Paul's MO. That's been his whole career. And that's what he's doing right now, right in front of your very eyes. And you guys still probably believe in the Suns because of Devin Booker, who is playing amazing. Not gonna take anything away from Devin Booker because these last 2 games, guy's just been carrying the team single-handedly. They found a way to shut down Ayton. I have no idea how. We got to give Budenholzer some credit if he's the one making these adjustments to shut down Ayton, to shut down Paul. Maybe Drew Holiday is the one defensively, not offensively necessarily, but defensively, maybe he's the reason that Chris Paul's been taken away, and that changes the dynamic of the series because Mike alluded to it last week. They changed the way they do their pick and roll. And when they changed the way they did their pick and roll, Game 3 was different than Games 1 and 2. So maybe they stuck with that in Games 3, Games 4, and Games 5. And now the Suns, Monty Williams has to adjust. And he hasn't adjusted in these last 3 games. So Monty Williams needs to adjust. Chris Paul has been bad. He hasn't been himself lately. And Devin Booker's been shooting the lights out, but he's got no help. Nobody's done anything except him. I mean, these have been 2 iconic performances, and nobody's going to talk about it if they lose Game 6. Nobody, because they lost.
So,
but if they win, these 2 last
quick.
performances have been amazing.
I'm going to get everybody in here, and then, as always, I'm just going to gracefully bow out and let this happen. Hold on. I'm going to give the ladies the floor. Megan, Ruth, I want to hear from you, your thoughts on this series and what you expect is going to happen. After that, Mike, Alex, and Ty. I'm going to ask that you please be respectful of everybody else. But, of course, we're going to go ladies first.
Megan, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to say, I agree with a lot of what John had to say, and that doesn't always happen. Budenholzer actually made some adjustments, whether it was him making the calls or some of his assistants making the calls. He actually changed the way they do the pick and roll and the way they adjust to that, and they do a full court press. I think that full court press completely threw Chris Paul off his game. And now, like John said, Monty is the one that's not adjusting, and he's the one. It's the complete table turn right there. Now, I disagree that that the Bucks will actually win this game. I think this is actually your moment, John, where you used to say Milwaukee loses games that they shouldn't lose. I think this is going to be one of those games because Middleton and Holiday are just not consistent like that. They're so inconsistent. They're consistent with it. So it's about time for a bad game for them. So I think they actually lose this game, push it to a 7-game series, and then it's, 50-50, anybody there.
So going into this NBA Finals, it was all really debating on how Giannis was going to be, how his health was going to keep up during this series. But now that ever since they've tied up the series 2-2 and then they win Game 5, I've always said that Game 5 was going to be that pivotal game in the NBA Finals. Whoever wins Game 5 is going to take the remainder of this series. So I have the Bucks closing it out in Game 6. I honestly think that Monty Williams does not have an answer for Giannis whatsoever. I mean, the Greek Freak getting 17 offensive rebounds. If they don't get rebounds, they will not beat Giannis. They will not put up more points on the board, and they will have a difficult time going and trying to get to a Game 7 where they'll be back in Phoenix. So I have the Bucks ending it tomorrow night for the NBA Finals, and Giannis, rightfully so. I mean, he has the supporting cast. I know that Chris Middleton hasn't been as consistent through these playoffs and through these series, but he's showing up when it counts. And with Giannis having back-to-back 40-point games, it's just they're on a mission, and I think it's going to be completed by tomorrow night.
I gotta. Go ahead, Alex. All right.
Russell, Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, Giannis. Why do I mention those names? These are big men that make differences in the finals. I told Tyree, I told Michael, I told my girl Megan, I even mentioned it to John Shear. Bully ball wins championships. If you can't control the paint, it exposes his other weaknesses. And all that had to happen was his role players to actually contribute. And guess what? They've been contributing. Now, if you're going to tell me that Giannis is going to average at least 17 points in the paint, and then you got Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, and other big guys that are going to abuse Ayton and no Sarge to back up Ayton's punk ass and just rule the paint, and then you're going to have people off the bench like Pat Connaughton, 15 for 30. Hope I didn't mention that wrong. And then you got your role players, Drew Holiday and the real Robin, Middleton, who average about 24 in a game. It's a wrap. Budenholzer needed to win this series to keep his job. They're going to get thunderstruck in Milwaukee tomorrow. Michael's going to try to say, no, that's not going to happen. Chris Paul has turned into Cliff Paul. And the man who I thought was so soft with his leather is now carrying the team who's not backing him up. Mikal Bridges isn't a consistent scorer. DeAndre Ayton has been getting in foul trouble. And for some odd reason, he doesn't want to get a little bit aggressive with the big bodies down low. And can you give me another facilitator or scorer besides Chris Paul, especially when he's looking like a deer in the headlights? Fear the deer. I done told you before the series started. I told you that Milwaukee was destined. I told you Giannis was a difference maker, and you still didn't listen.
So let me ask a question. Did everybody watch the same Game 5? Because y'all saying some crazy things. How did Chris Paul play bad? Did you not watch the fourth quarter? When you're down 9, who hits the 3, then hits the little floater to bring you within 1 point?
You wouldn't be in that situation if he didn't have the turnovers.
I didn't interrupt you while you was talking. Let me talk. And you said he had turnovers. He had 1 turnover. Go back and look at, like I said, stop listening to ESPN. Turn that crap off. Go back and look at it. He only had 1 turnover. So what are you talking about?
They shot 50% up. What are you talking about? I'm gonna answer it. They shot 50%. It was up 16 points. They were up 16 points at the end of the first quarter. They had 50% from the field, and they still lost because they can't handle nobody down low. What part of this are we not understanding? You win games down low when you have big men. And Giannis has not been answered for. I told you before the series started, Giannis is the difference maker. Giannis is averaging 34 points. He's been cooking DeAndre Ayton. What part of this are we not understanding?
No, what part are you understanding? Because you didn't address nothing I said. You started talking about something else. Bring yourself back. Focus on what I'm talking about. I asked you, how did Chris Paul play bad? You say he turned the ball over. I said he turned the ball over 1 time. So let's go back.
Was he aggressive, sir? Was he aggressive, sir? I'm asking you. Was he aggressive in the fourth quarter when they were down 9 points? Was he aggressive? How many points did he have in Game 5? How many points did he have?
You didn't watch the game.
Tyree, you want to answer the question? I'm asking you.
How many Chris Middleton towards the end of the fourth quarter?
He had 21 points. He had 11
in the fourth. He had 11 in the fourth. When they were down how much? When they were down how much?
When they were down 9, Alex, he hit the 3 to bring them within 6.
Budenholzer has found a way to take away the pick and roll and found a way to isolate Chris Paul. He's got a deer in the headlights. All they needed to do was steal 1 game in Phoenix. And guess what happened? As a matter of fact, Eric Wilson, didn't I tell you guys that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to win Game 5? Because you were giving me hell saying that the winner of Game 5 wins the series 75% of the time. Guess what, Eric? I was right on that too.
Someone's time and then someone's not. Boy, that's crazy. Go ahead, Mike.
After you.
I let you talk the whole time you talk. I let John talk the whole time he talk. Everybody else talk. I let them talk. When I talk, go ahead, Mike.
No, go. I like what you're doing. Go.
No, because if you're not going to listen, if you're not going to listen, it defeats the whole purpose. Because if you're telling me Chris Paul played bad, you didn't watch the last part of the game. If you're saying he didn't be aggressive, when, like I said, they were down 9, he hits the 3. When you're down 5, when you're down 3, he's the one that hits the little floater over Giannis. The next possession is when Devin Booker turns the ball over. Now, I don't like the dumb foul at the end where he fouls Giannis, because at that point, you still could have came down and got a 3 and tied the game up. I mean, I didn't like that, but I think at that point he was frustrated. But Devin Booker just lets Drew Holiday take the ball from him. Now, Chris Paul played bad in Game 4. I don't have anything to say about that. He played bad. But to say he played bad in Game 5, that's a terrible analysis. And I don't care who's saying it.
I also think that Devin Booker played really sloppy in the fourth quarter in Game 5. He had 0 assists and a lot of missed shots, so he wasn't really passing the ball, and they weren't using the time clock correctly in the fourth quarter. They were getting shots off between 5 to 8 seconds on average in the fourth quarter, totally rushing it. I understand that Booker knows that he needs to score, that he knows he needs to put points on the board, but he also has a supporting cast that he could have been moving the ball a little more offensively late in the fourth quarter.
There's no reason to be sour, okay?
It's not sour. First of all, Ruth's sour because that's a Clippers fan making that statement. I love you, Ruth, but that's okay. First of all, Alex, 40 points for Booker, 21 for Paul. And John, 20 and 10 for Ayton. I know he's a big man. He should be averaging 20 and 20 a game. But 20 and 10 for Ayton. They all showed up. Yes, there were issues on the boards. Let's talk about, and I give credit where credit is due, Milwaukee's shooting from the second quarter to the fourth quarter was almost like 70%. They're not going to do that in Game 6. If any of you think they're going to shoot 70% for 3 quarters in Game 6, I'll bet you all $1,000 right now because you know that's not going to happen. That being said, look, Milwaukee did adjust some, but PJ Tucker is still going under the thing. Devin Booker, to your point, Ruth, I'm not saying he shouldn't get people involved, but he kept going chasing the screen, and Book's getting to his spot, taking the shot. So, lastly, I touched on it all playoffs long, and I said it the other night on Twitter too, because people were hammering me. The Suns have gotten away with some too, but I'm with Ty. That foul that Chris Paul allegedly committed on Giannis on the dunk, are you kidding me? And how is it that every time, Chris Paul gets bumped by Giannis, they show the replay, and at 6'1", he goes flying, and he couldn't have embellished it because he was in midair. He gets fouled. He got the basket, no foul call. You sneeze on Giannis, and it's a foul. This is why people hate NBA officials. It happened last year with the Lakers and the Heat too. Granted, it was in the bubble.
Don't bring the Lakers in.
They're playing filthy on John.
I'm not bringing the Lakers. I'm just saying in the playoffs, in the finals, you go back every year, and this is what annoys people that watch the game. Because if Alex fouls me a certain way in the regular season, and I know I'm getting the call, and then all of a sudden he fouls me that way in the playoffs, and I don't get that call, of course I'm going to look like a whiner. So to that point, yes. Look, Middleton showed out, and he showed up in back-to-back games. I said he was inconsistent last week, John. You're right. Middleton showed up in back-to-back games. They need Holiday to play the defense he is, and he's hit a few shots too. But as for DeAndre Ayton, Alex, your point is wrong because, like Ty's saying numbers, DeAndre Ayton is shooting, or Giannis is shooting over like 68% when anyone else is guarding him. When DeAndre Ayton is guarding him for the series, it is still high, but he's at 47.
He's getting punked on rebounds, bro. Get in the gym.
Yes,
he's getting punked on rebounds.
Getting there. I know. He has got punked on. The whole team that realizes they don't want to box out. All I'm saying is that, they floored him in the first quarter. Don't tell me Monty Williams didn't make adjustments from Game 4 to Game 5 when they came out and whooped their ass in the first quarter. Yes, it's a 4-quarter game, but a 16-point lead, they made adjustments. And they still, like to Ty's point, they still came back. And Chris Paul in the fourth quarter, everybody, and he's right, everybody's saying, Chris Paul's not playing good. In the fourth quarter, he had 11 of his 21. He only had the 1 turnover, and he hit the 3, and then he hit the floater. So for the Suns, they can still win it.
Hey, Mike, Bucks in 6.
Yeah, well, that's where you're wrong, because since the Bucks won in Phoenix and won, have a drink, funny guy. Where the Bucks got one here in Phoenix, that's fine. The Suns are going to go back to Milwaukee. They're going to melt those little antlers. They're going to smack them around like they did to the Nuggets and the Clippers in the second round in the Western Conference Finals. And they're coming back to Phoenix for Game 7. And
Hey,
John,
Michael, now you need to be drug tested because you don't know the stats. Hey guys. Now, Mike, you need to be drug tested because of
ladies and gentlemen,
one more point.
ladies and gentlemen,
guys.
realize that I will mute every last one of y'all if y'all don't chill and let me get my point in. Thank you very much.
One more point.
No, Mike, no, you don't. No, you don't. All right, let me be very clear. No, you don't.
Wait, fish boy.
Here's what we got for you. All right, I'm gonna give everybody 1 minute, and I mean that. You get 60 seconds to state your case on who is going to win Game 6 and why. All right, we are gonna do ladies first, and then I will go through the rest of the crew. But please believe me when I say this. 60 seconds. I will mute you and cut you off. So, Miss Ruth the True, your 60 seconds. Who wins Game 6 and why?
I probably don't even need the whole 60 seconds because it's pretty self-explanatory. Giannis Antetokounmpo is playing to another level. His supporting cast is being supportive, and Chris Middleton is showing up in the NBA Finals. I have the Bucks winning Game 6 in Milwaukee, and they're going to be crowning Giannis the ring after he's been in the NBA for how long? Back-to-back MVPs. I have the Bucks winning in 6. It's been a great fairy tale with the Phoenix Suns. I love Chris Paul. I'm a huge Clippers fan. I was a Clippers fan when Chris Paul was their starting point guard. But it just doesn't. It seems like that hand injury or whatever he's been shaking off on the sidelines has been affecting him during the game, and he hasn't been the Chris Paul that we've seen during these playoffs. So I think that's really going to affect them. I think Devin Booker is putting too much pressure on himself right now for the Phoenix Suns, and they're going to slip up in Milwaukee. I have the Bucks winning in Game 6, and Giannis is going to get his first ring.
In Game 6, I actually have Phoenix being victorious because I believe Milwaukee drops games all season long. There have been games that they should have won, and they absolutely lost them. So I think it's about time for a bad game for Milwaukee. Now, come Game 7, I think it's 50-50. Anybody can have that series at that point. Milwaukee has a great storyline. Giannis has never won. It's been since the 60s since they won a championship. Phoenix, they've never won. Chris Paul has never won. Either one has a good motivation in that Game 7. But to address one point about Mike talking about officiating, I think you have to go back to Game 4 and talk about how Booker had at least 27 fouls and didn't get called for them. That's all the time I need.
I mean, I definitely can't disagree with the fouls. Even in Game 5, he had to play towards the end of the game on Holiday, where I felt like that was a foul. He kind of just grabbed Holiday, but I mean,
gave him a hug.
Yeah, he did in midair. So I mean, that's crazy. For me, Chris Middleton, I don't remember him ever having three good games back to back. So I'm going to say that Chris Middleton struggles. Chris Paul and Booker play good. Suns win. Game 7, I don't know, but I think Suns got Game 6.
Look, Mike is just bitter that Dez did not catch that ball. That's why he's mad at officiating. So we'll just start there. He's still upset about that. The series ended when they blew that 16-point lead at home, Game 5. That was the series right there. Once you blew that, once you let the Bucks squeak back in and have that big second quarter and win that game, that's the series right there. You can't blow that at home, Game 5, all the momentum, and then that goes away. You can't do that. So that was the series when you blew that first quarter lead.
I really get tired of teaching y'all the games of basketball, and y'all get mad at me when I call y'all out. Brother Tyree, don't get mad that I keep winning. You start to do it, it becomes genetic. By the way, stats. By the way, before Game 5, the Milwaukee Bucks were 5-6 on the road, 9-1 at home. Now, you don't have to be a math major to know that Milwaukee plays better at home than they do on the road. How are they going to win this series? They needed to steal one game. They're 6-6 on the road, 9-1 on the road. They have no answer for Giannis. The role players are starting to play. A couple of bums contributed off the bench, and Budenholzer is going to get a contract extension. Bucks in 6, like I told you a couple of weeks ago, don't be South.
Well, now that the ridiculousness has stopped, Eric, thank you. I'll address John's point, which I was going to say one more point. He says about Chris Paul, he hasn't believed in his whole career. Again, none of us could do what Chris Paul does on a court. If you think you can, rock on. You can't. And Eric, it goes to my point. I'm not buttering up to you, but a lot of people you say this about my guy, AI. Only went to one finals. You name a better point guard at the time with the handle you wanted in the league. I'll just go with that. As for the game, yeah, Booker had 27 fouls. Giannis also had about 13 that didn't get called. None of you want to talk about that. And the refs aren't calling it that way, fine. And yeah, roll your head back, John, because I can show you the clips. Oh, and by the way, Devin Booker should have passed that ball. But guess what? If I can grab your hand, it's the rules of physics. If I grab your hand and you can't have a chance to pass the ball, guess what? That's a foul. Either way, Chris Paul, to Tyree's point, is going to have another 21, or I'll say 25 and 15, and the Suns win Game 6. They steal one back. They come back for Game 7, and that's that. Chris Paul is a phenomenal point guard. You don't believe in him, that's on you. It's like when people didn't believe in AI, and that's all I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I can say. I ain't got nothing more to say. This is why I love all my fam, because, listen, when it comes to sports, we all love and respect each other. But, damn it, we will damn sure hold each other accountable to what we say, past, present, and future. So, I can't wait till Wednesday night to see what happens. But, again, thank you to, of course, Miss Ruth the Truth for joining us here tonight, along with our girl, Miss Megan Price, 806, and the Sip Off. Make sure you catch her out doing her show. John Shear, Sideline Sports, Cardiac Kane, Michael Caratenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. Check out my man Ty Ray tomorrow night. Say What, Say It Again, sports talk show. He's going to be on while Game 6 is going on, so I'm sure
we're doing 7:30 tomorrow, but
that's right. Special time, 7:30, getting them ready for Game 6. And last but not least, my brother, who has been dropping knowledge all day long, and like I said to start the show, whether you love him or you hate him, you gotta respect him, because damn it, he does bring the knowledge. Sometimes he does. Anyhow, your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. We will see y'all on Wednesday. And I'm thinking by then, I'm saying this, my two favorite words in the NBA, Game 7.